Guys, we're talking about our student loan debt forgiveness, yes, or the student loan debt relief program that has been offered. But before we get to that, just want to ask you, do you know anyone that has all of those student loans, that has student loan debt? Then call them, send this video over to them, write down everything that you can so that you can get the information out in your community. Confidence, where we're helping you to make your money, keep your money, and grow your money so you can do those things that you're called to do. That's build generational wealth and leave an inheritance for your children's children. Our guiding principle for this show is Matthew 6:33. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Yes, we also implore that you pray over your finances so you can do those things that you're called to do. If you will, bow with me. Lord, help us to value the things in this world that are really valuable. That's our relationship with you, our lives, and our families. Help make us responsible stewards of your financial resources, and let us trust your holy word. In eternal glory in thy son, Jesus, we pray. Amen. All right, guys, we're talking about our student loan debt forgiveness, yes, or the student loan debt relief program that has been offered. But before we get to that, just want to ask you, do you know anyone that has all of those student loans, that has student loan debt? Then call them, send this video over to them, write down everything that you can so that you can get the information out in your community. With that said, if you currently owe on student loans, remember those federal student loans are still on pause until December 31st. So there was a freeze in payments that was placed on federal student loans during the pandemic, and that is going to continue. So that'll continue. No interest will occur. So we're good. You can breathe until then, right? Any unpaid loans and balances that you have, though, just know January 2023, all of that returns. So now is the time to make your plan to ensure that you are ready, that you can pay those payments on time. Why? Because inflation is real. We've all seen the increased cost in food, gas, and other items that we purchase. And you need to have a plan in place because you haven't been paying that lately. And you need to figure out, okay, now what? I have another bill coming up in January. This is right after the holidays. I have everything else going on. So what is it you need to do? Write it down, read it, and run it. That's what you need to do. All right, guys. So let's talk about this debt relief program. So in this debt relief program, I just need you to know that if you are an individual, so it's based upon how you pay your taxes, right? If you're an individual and you make less than $125,000, or if you're a married couple and you file jointly on your tax returns, so you can have income up to $250,000 and you'll be able to participate in this debt relief program. Any of your federal loans that you've taken out, whether those were undergraduate loans, graduate loans, even parents with those plus loans, all qualify. Yes, parents, those plus loans qualify as well. However, on the other side of that coin, unfortunately, those private loans that you may have taken out with other institutions, those are not eligible for this debt relief program. So even, oh yes, current students, if you have federal student loans that were taken out before July 2022, guess what? Those qualify as well. The only thing you need to be mindful of is if you are a dependent, right, on your parents' taxes, then your information is, your eligibility is based on their income, not your income. But that is great news for those of you who have those student loans before July 2022. So as we think about this, so what are those debt cancellations, the maximums that you can get? Right now it's up to $10,000 in federal student loans that can be relief can be given for per qualified borrower. So in those married households, both of you have those student loans, you are filing jointly, then that's up to $20,000 for the two of you. If you are a borrower who actually received Pell Grants, then yours can be up to $20,000 as an individual. So it's very important to know your status, know where you were, know where you are, right, as you move forward. You will also need to apply for this. So this is not automatic, right? During the pandemic, there were some automatic payments that came out of $1,200 or whatever the case may be. This is not automatic. This is something that you are going to have to apply for. And in applying for this, you'll need to head on over to the Department of Education's website, which is currently under construction, but it will be available in October. I highly implore you, I strongly recommend that you get on their subscription list of the Department of Education so that you can take advantage of the opportunity when it presents itself. Stay up to date by subscribing. So you say, Lynn, well, where do I subscribe? I'm glad you asked. I'm going to show you really quickly. If you head on over to www.ed.gov/subscriptions, here you can select the topic that you are interested in. On my screen here, I show new federal student loan borrower updates. That is the one that I've selected. But if you would like to subscribe to other things from the Department of Education, and you see, if you scroll down here, you can see all of those things. Then you simply make sure that you read over the data privacy policy that they have here for you from the Department of Education, and you go ahead and you select next, and you're going to put in your email address. Don't forget to put in your email address so that you can subscribe to receive that information from the Department of Education. That's right, guys. Your money ain't got to be funny. So I want you to make sure that you take advantage of that debt relief program if that works for you. Also, you may say, well, what do I need to do? How can I get ready? I need a plan to make sure that I can restart those student loans. I'm glad you asked. I have some money mindset hacks that are going to help you with that process. So the first one that I want to share with you guys is you got to kick your ego to the curb. Why do I say kick your ego to the curb? Because most of the time, guys, we are our greatest enemy. Your enemy is your greatest enemy. So when you know better, you do better. Your ego can simply get in the way. For example, in this example here, in asking questions, we get too busy acting like you already know it, like you already have all the answers. You don't have all the answers. And guess what? That's okay. Don't let your ego get in the way and stop you from getting to your next. Don't let your ego stop you from being able to take advantage of this opportunity. Yeah, you do get some of that debt canceled, but you need to have a plan for the remainder of that debt so that you can continue to do what you need to do. That's make your money, keep your money, and grow your money so you can do those things that you're called to do. Next, guys, go from being a consumer to a producer. There are too many of us in our community who consume. We have the latest everything. The iPhone 14 is just coming out, right? How many of us went out, got in line so that we can get that $800 or $1,000 phone? What could you have done differently with that? What I mean by that is you'll be able to explode your income, be a disruptor in your industry if you become the producer as opposed to becoming the consumer. That money, that income that you put into iPhone's pocket, right, could have very easily have gone into your pocket if you decided definitively that you are going to go from being that consumer to being a producer. What value do you bring to the table? What problem can you solve for the market? Who needs your gifts? Somebody's waiting on you and they're not going to move until you do. So it's time for you to move. Go from being that consumer to the producer if that fits for you, right? Go from being the person that's buying everything to the one that's bringing a new idea to the marketplace. How is that done? And how can I make that more attractive to the end user? It doesn't have to be anything brand new, is what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be anything that you start over. If we look at it, there are millions of different types of paper towel out there, right? We got the quicker picker-upper, we got Brawny, we got the great value, right? There are different types of paper towel out there, but they all pick up things differently. So what I say to you is it doesn't have to be anything brand new that you're bringing to the market. Get something that's already done and make it better. That's one of the easiest ways to go from being a consumer to a producer. You're being disruptive, you're being innovative, and you exceed the need of the client or the consumer. See, that's a mindset shift in your lifestyle, in your conversations. Start with open-ended questions. That helps to move the needle. No longer can I say, I can't afford it, but ask yourself, how can I afford this, right? See, that's a complete mindset shift that takes you to that next level. So you need to go ahead, start working on it. What is your plan to make sure that you and your money is not funny, right? Because your money ain't got to be funny. This is Lynn Demmons, and I'm helping you to make your money, keep your money, and grow your money so you can do those things that you're called to do. That's to build generational wealth and leave an inheritance for your children's children.
This is another Infosol production. This is an original instrumental. This is another Infosol production. This is an original instrumental. This is another Infosol production.
Your money ain't got to be funny. We're going to be talking about what are those steps to move from struggling to thriving after you get that student loan paid off. You're feeling a little bit of breathing room. Now we can keep that momentum going. How you going to move from struggling to thriving? Because your money doesn't have to be funny. Let's say that right. Your money ain't got to be funny. That's right. So what the number one thing to remember, guys, is money is like energy. If you remember in school, you learned the law of conservation of energy. Energy is neither created or destroyed. It is transformed. The same thing happens with money. Money is neither created or destroyed, it's transformed, or dare I say, it's transferred. It's transferred from your hands to the next man's hand. So what are you going to do to ensure that more of that transformation happens with you? Just because you're struggling, though, let me be clear, just because you're struggling does not mean your feelings. Sometimes you need bad things to happen to inspire you to change and to grow. You see that crack over there? That's right. That plant is thriving through that crack. Before that, the ground was completely covered. He didn't have a way out, but he saw a tiny little space, that plant right there, and he began to grow and thrive. That crack inspired him to change. So I want you to figure out what's the inspiration for you out of your situation that's going to inspire you to change and grow. But if you don't let your past die, then it won't let you live. Let that sink in a little bit for the cheap seats. If you don't let your past die, guys, it will not allow you to live. And I want to live, right? So how do we live today? Because financial success requires you to pay attention. That's the number one thing. It requires you to pay attention. Oftentimes your money lacks focus, right? So what I need for you to do is to get some focus, to pay attention. Notice what you're noticing in your money. Notice your thoughts about your money, right? Notice what you're saying, what you're telling your children, your spouse about your money. Notice what you're telling others in your actions about your money. And then I want you to stop and ask yourself some questions. Are the thoughts I'm thinking empowering me, or are they devouring me? Are those thoughts getting you to your next level, or are they taking you down to sad, busted, and disgusted? So you got to recognize and focus your attention on success. So to bring anything into your life, imagine that it's already there. That's the quote by Mr. Richard Bach. So I want you to write that down if you didn't, or take a picture of this, take a screenshot of this, whatever you need to do. Put it on your phone, put it on as a screensaver on your phone as a reminder for you that financial success requires that you pay attention. What are you paying attention to? The second thing, guys, that's going to help you is your current operating system, or your thermostat. What's your money thermostat, right? Most of us, and most of our money beliefs and habits were modeled by other people in our lives. They either did well with money or they didn't do well with money. They either excel with money or they did not. And these behaviors are of spending, saving, investing, these strategies, or the lack thereof of strategy, is what we call your operating system. That's your money thermostat, right? You've heard that term before. And if your operating system is set to low for money management, then how do you move it, right? How do you move it? What are some things you need to do? What are the circles you need to get in? Who are the people you need to be around that are talking about money, so you can learn how to make your money, keep your money, and grow your money, right? So you can do the things that you're called to do. You gotta be intentional, folks. You must be intentional. You must commit to that intentionality, and you must follow through in every act regarding your money. See, your current operating system does not allow you to be able to do what you need to do, but that's okay. You can heat it up. You can put it on high. You can turn it up, right? Get intentional with every action around your finances. Get a budget, follow the budget, stay on top of your budget, right? And finally, choose how you deal with fear, doubt, and worry. See, fear, doubt, and worry about your money situation is counterproductive. What it does is it keeps you in the same place, wallowing in that pity, in self-pity. See, you got to get curious about the possible good you're seeking to have in your life. You got to start thinking about it so much in spite of fear, in spite of doubt, in spite of worry. You ask yourself, what possible good could there be in this situation after 3 days, after 3 weeks, after 3 months? After 3 years, you see, when you're in the midst of something, it feels like it'll never be over. But if you look down the line, right, and you can see that light at the end of the tunnel, it completely changes your situation. Think about something that you were in the midst of, right? And it was really hard at that time. For me, it was going through the death of my little brother. It was really hard at that time. But now that I look back on it, it wasn't as bad as I played it out in my mind. Yes, it's bad. Don't get me wrong. It's always tough to lose a loved one. But there are some things that I had to do to get productive as opposed to counterproductive so I can move on. I had to get clarity and grow. So you must get clarity and grow when it comes to your money. Do it afraid. I'm Lynn Demmons. That's Demmons, no demons here. You can find me on all social media at Demmons Speak. Also, I want you guys to like, subscribe, and follow. Stay connected with us. Ooh, your girl is sweating. Why y'all didn't tell me? Oh, I gotta fix that. Okay.